Hey guys, it's Jackson here from Titanic Games, and today we're going to continue with our RPG game tutorial series and further add more functionality, or rather start adding functionality to our equipment system. So if I press play right now, you can see we have the live preview kind of thing showing up, and we've got these buttons and the inventory, but nothing's really happening yet. If I pick something up, nothing really happens. So let's start adding stuff. Let's make stuff happen. So first thing we're going to do is go to our UI and equipment, our UI equipment, okay? And what we're going to do is on event construct, we're going to call some event. So we're going to create a custom event here that we will call create equipment slots, okay? And so basically, or we'll just call it create equipment just to keep things simple. And basically what this event is going to do, so yeah, type create equipment here, and this is literally just calling this event, okay? But basically what it's going to do is it's going to update all of our slots here that we've created, all of these slots, based on the info that's passed through to them. Okay, so say we have a sword, right, that gets sent over to our equipment from the inventory. It'll update the sword slot with our sword details and everything. Okay, so with that, let's next thing we want to do is go over and find our character. So we're going to edit him, open him up, and in here we're actually finally going to take care of this. All right. So specifically what we'll do is we are going to just take this little function part right here. We're going to right click and say collapse to function. We're going to call this add to inventory. So we'll call this function whenever we want to add something to the inventory. Okay, so we'll hook up pickup, and just to kind of show you again what this is, it's taking the item that we got from the pickup and then passing it through to our inventory, and then we're checking if the inventory reference is valid, because if it is, I'm just adding a reroute note here, because if it is, then we're going to refresh the inventory essentially, or create the inventory. Okay, so I'm going to actually hold Alt and click to break the is valid node. Okay, so compile and save that really quick, and we can close out of that. Alright, so next what we want to do is we want to actually take our inventory here, and we're going to duplicate this. So we're going to hit duplicate, and we're going to call this equipment instead. Okay, and we could call it, I guess, equipment inventory, but I'll just leave it as equipment. Okay, so this is going to have its own array of item infos, but it'll be related to our equipment instead. Okay, so we'll compile and save. All right, and now we'll go back to our UI equipment, and we're going to, on this create equipment event, we'll cast to our character. Okay, so ch my character, and we will say get player character. Okay. And now that we've created that variable, we can get it. So we'll say get equipment. So we'll get all the the array of item infos. Obviously we don't have anything right now, but this is just the setup. So then from this, we'll take it and we'll run it through a for each loop. Okay, so hook this up, and basically for each loop, what we're going to do first is we want to break the f item info. Okay, so we want to break the info that's coming through. Okay, then we also want to say make item info, make f item info. Okay, so I just did that by right clicking and typing. I didn't drag off of anything, just in case that is confusing. And then basically we're just going to actually hook everything up, but the only thing we're going to change here is the index. Right? So we're going to change the index to be the index of this array. So we'll hook it up, and I'll add a reroute node by double clicking there, just to tidy up. Okay, now that we've done that, right, we're going to want to drag off and say, or not right there, we're going to take this f item info and we're going to say break item info. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the default categories here, the pin options, and we're going to untick everything here except for the item slot. So this is an enum, right? And if we drag off, we can say switch on e item or e slot type. Okay, so I just click the drop down, and basically we can see all the different slot types that we can have. So basically when we create the equipment, right, it's going to come through, it's going to check our equipment, see all the different items that we have in our equipment array, and then for each of those, depending on its type, it will refresh the associated slot. Okay, so the head slot type here is going to set the head slot information and whatnot. Okay, so we'll hook this up. Now what we want to do is we're going to take this f item info, drag it up here, and add a reroute node because we're going to use it a lot. Okay, so compile and save. So next what we're going to do is create a function that we will call set equipment slot, basically. Okay, and this is going to take in two inputs. So the first one is we're going to call slot, and it's going to take in a UI underscore equipment slot. Okay, then we'll add one more here that we'll call item info, naturally. Then we'll use our f item info again. So if you recall, on our item slots, right, we added a variable for its own item info. Okay, so that's how we're going to be passing the item info around. So, okay, so basically when we use something from our inventory, we're going to take, let me just demonstrate this really quick. When we use something from our inventory, right, so let's say we used whatever is in this slot. Okay, it's going to take that slot's information, send it over to our equipment, where our equipment will decide, which slot does it belong to. Okay, and then depending on which slot it belongs to, it will assign that info, from the previous button here, to that associated button. Okay, so now that info will now be transferred into the equipment. So then when we, remove it, it'll send it right back to the inventory, and all will be right in the world. Okay, so basically each of these slots, they have their own equipment info. So just keep that in mind. So we'll go back to this UI equipment, and we'll take our slot now. We'll drag off and we'll say set its item info. Okay, and we'll hook the item info up here. Okay, next we're going to want to drag right here. I'm going to create a little reroute node, and we're going to want to get the equipment item button, and also get the equipment item text. So similarly to how we set the style for the inventory system buttons a while back, we're going to do the same here. So we'll take our item text, say set text of text. Okay, hook this up, and we'll do that in a second. And then we'll also say set or just set style. Okay. Now for the set text, we're going to take this and we're going to break it. Okay. And sorry, I'm just going to create a little more space here, move things around a little bit. And basically, all we want are the item name and item image. So you can remove everything else. And for the item name, we'll plug this into the text here for a set text. Now for the style, okay, we're going to drag off of inStyle and say make button style. And for the normal we're going to get rid of the press sounds, right, and the disabled. Now for the normal and press padding, we're going to say make margin, and these will both be 0. Okay. Now for normal and pressed, we're going to use the same one, so we're going to say make slate brush. Okay, so we'll drag this out. A little overlap in the nodes is alright, but I mean, I'm really anal about this, so I'm going to add some reroutes. Okay. And basically, with this node, we're going to set its image size to 100 by 100. We're going to untick everything here but image. Alright, and then we'll take this item image and plug it in like so. Then we'll take the slot, or this make slate brush, and can copy paste it. And we'll do the same thing, take that same image, but only this time we're going to plug it into hovered, and then we want to enable the tint. Okay, so for tint, we're going to drag out again and say make slate color. And the color is going to be completely white, and it'll be 0.5 alpha. So it'll be a little translucent. Okay, and so that's actually all we need to do here in this function. You can reorganize a little bit if you want, but it should be good to go. And we'll just go back out to the graph now. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to take each of our slots here, okay, and we will set, we'll drag off and set the equipment slot of each associated slot. So just to demonstrate, okay, I'll just do 2 of these and then I'll let you do the rest. So we'll say set equipment slot. Okay, we'll plug in our head, and the item info to pass in will be this item info. Remember, coming off of this make item info. Make sure it's coming off of the make and not the array element. Okay. So we'll set it there. And now the slot that we want to set, okay, is going to be our head slot. So we'll get that, set it, and there we go. Okay, so see, we're setting the head, based on the head slot type, we will set the head slot. Okay, I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So we'll just do the same thing. So copy paste here, hook this up to torso, and now this time we're going to do the torso slot. So we'll get this, get the torso slot, plug it into slot, then item info, hook that up. Okay, fine, I'll do one more. And then I'll let you guys do it. Okay, so we'll drag it out again. We're setting it again, plugging it into arms, and then since it's the arms slot, we need the arms slot button here. So plug it in like so, and then connect the item info. All right, so there you have it. There's how you set this up. I'm going to set up the rest, and then I'll see you in a moment. All right, so we're back, and you should have something that looks very similar to this. I realize it's a lot of nodes or lines or whatever going around, but basically each slot comes over and sets its associated slot. So do that all the way down, making sure that you plug in everything that you need to plug in, and just make sure again that you're plugging in the correct one. So just follow the lines and everything should be good. Okay, so there you go. Now last thing that we'll do for this video is we're going to go back to our UI and open up our equipment slot, and we're going to add a function on it. Yes, we're going to add a function. We'll go back to the event graph here, and we'll add a function that we'll call empty the slot. So basically this function will just be called whenever we want to kind of clear it out. So for that, we're just going to set everything back to its defaults. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll drag out, or we want to get our equipment text first. We're going to say set text of text. Okay, we'll set it to nothing, so that's easy enough. Okay, then we'll get our item button here, get it, and we'll say set style. All right, and we will make a button style. All right, now with this button style, what we'll do is we can probably actually go and borrow from. Let's see, where did we do it? Did we do it in here? Oops. It's my bad, guys. Let me drop that back on there. One sec. Okay, so if we go into our UI inventory, all right, we can just take this right here, this little chunk, inside of the set widget style function. Okay, and we can control C that. All right, now go back to our, or to copy it, we can go back to our UI equipment slot, and inside the empty the slot function, we can control V to paste it. And then we can just use this stuff to plug it in. Okay, so we'll hook that up like so. And we've already got the images set, so that's great. We don't have to do any extra work there. There we have it. So the last thing that we'll add is we just want to basically set this item info back to nothing. Okay, because we're emptying the slot and basically just clearing out everything. Okay. Alright, so we've done that. Now we'll go back to the event graph. Not this event graph. Close that. We can close the inventory as well. We'll go back to our UI equipment. Okay, and basically off of none, we are going to call that function on each of these slots. Now, it is a function only called within an actual equipment slot. So that means we need to get these and call it. So we'll drag this up here, copy paste. And I'm just going to reposition these all so they're really tight. So see you in a sec. So now they're all grouped together really nicely. So then we can drag off, and we'll just call that empty the slot function, and we'll call that on none. So go ahead and just hook all these up like so. All right, so you should have something looking just like this, right? All the slots now are plugged into this when it reads none. Okay. So you should have a setup looking something like this now, and this is great. We've got our equipment done for the most part. Now we'll just need to start doing some work in our character, and we'll do that in the next upcoming videos. So with that, thank you for watching, guys, and if you like the video, like or subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.